What is going on, guys? My name is Eric, known on the internet as tubbyemu. Universe Mode blog dropped as Christo fully dived in and explained the features that are in this year, the changes that have happened, and let's be honest, the very first thing to talk about is the save slots, and I cannot be more thankful for this. You know, trying to run one on PS4 and Xbox, it seems like once I get in a habit with running one console, I tend to not go back to the other one. So save slots, I can have multiple different shows. I praise this. This has got to be one of the greatest additions to Universe Mode. Now, we're going to go through the blog post, just kind of talk about it as they mention it. As you guys can see, we do have a new look this year. And if you've been a long-time fan, wow, the layouts has gone through some changes. We wanted to feel like our interface for this year's Universe Mode to really emphasize what I think is important the most, the shows. They want to make sure you're heading into the show and you're seeing the champions and the superstars on the front menu. Now, one of the things as we move on a little bit here in Universe Mode, as you guys can see on tonight's show, you see what's happening. You see the match, you see the calendar, My Universe Mode, story options, and you can dive into tonight's show. And then once you dive into tonight's show, you can actually see a lot of the things that are being presented. Now, Universe Mode, I have to be honest, I'm looking at this. This looks really clean. This looks like something that would allow me to go through a lot more, I don't want to say simpler, with more ease to go through. As you can see, the presentation details. Now, because the game did make these changes before the brand split happened, they are using the old branding, unfortunately. But as you guys can see, from the intro video to the soundtrack, the pyro, an updated arena packed with a roaring crowd, the opening lines from Michael Cole, they have it all. Now, the pyro is back. According to this is the pyro. So one of my favorite things, the pyro is literally one of their best additions they always had in the games. So you could start off shows. So to have pyro back is absolutely huge, and it's definitely a thing we want to have. Now, if you look at the match card of the show, there's a couple things that we want to go through and discuss right away. You can decide if you want to play or simulate. One thing that's noticeable, you have to proceed through the match card in the order it's presented. So you can't jump around. If you've been playing a long time, I can't go to like the Fatal 4-Way match first. I have to go in order to let the commentary talk about what's coming up and what just happened. So, I mean, a little bit of a bummer if you're playing through. You want to get through and definitely see where you've done before. There's a new graphic you guys can see is there as well in the 2-on-2 from before that. If you're in a rivalry, you will see the R symbol next to the superstar's name when they go in and compete against each other. Once you get to the matchup screen, you'll get a breakdown of the commentary team. So, yes, there is commentary during the actual start of the match, which I mentioned from SummerSlam. So you'd pick them, and then we're going to go in there. This year, you do it first, and then it goes right into the bell. So it's definitely something that's changed. As you dive into the actual gameplay, there's surprises. There's surprises waiting for you as you play through Universe Mode. You'll never know how a superstar is going to react to losing his or her match, how desperate a superstar is to win that coveted championship, and what a superstar will do when confronted by his or her hated rival, and so on. Here we find Rusev celebrating his win against Sheamus and being confronted by Roman Reigns afterwards in a stare down over the United States Championship. Storylines between rivals develop constantly in Universe Mode, featuring cutscenes during their matches. Our talented mocap and animation teams have done an amazing job updating the majority of our cutscenes, so we can expect a lot of new content in your playthroughs. So if you are going through and playing, we should expect to see a lot more cutscenes based on what they are talking about, which I think is great because, you can never really have enough cutscenes. That way you don't get the same thing twice. That way you can have varying change in what you're doing and definitely can make it a lot better. Once you actually get in there, and as you guys can see, the middle card promo, right? You have promos. There's more you can do. Promos are a part of Universe Mode where superstars can speak their minds in the crowd or lay the verbal smackdown on their rivals. We've listened to your feedback from last year. We've added in support for run-ins and let you choose which matches you want to run in and even which match and how you want the run-in to happen. Be warned, you're not the only ones making the choices, and you never know when a superstar might take it into his or her hands. So you might want to watch out, as somebody can also run in on you, and definitely want to be careful. All right, as we definitely, as you see on screen right there, going after the chair, look at the crowd. As, best friends, man, when you're trying to protect. And that's what Chris Jericho's trying to do. Sami Zayn used to be his best friend, but nobody's better friends than we are. And, if you say anything, you're not going to be on the list. What list? It. Man, I'll be honest with you. I'm loving the run, and I'm loving what they're doing. As we move on to another look at the show menu. So now, once you've wrapped up all the matches, let's head back to the show menu, where we can dig into some more details. Access the news option to recap the exciting moments from your show or dramatic events between rivals that you might have missed in a simulated match. You can enter the championship menus to see the prestigious title of the show and where superstars rank for his or her shot at the gold. Superstars and teams is where you'll be found by the ratings, stats, and news of the show's competitors. These menus bring you info related only to the show you're on, which I think helps emphasize the brand identity by removing the clutter of the other shows. So if you only have that show, you're setting up your slots and you're not having to worry about intermingling between the two, and you can kind of give better focus to what you're doing, which definitely, if you are running one show and that's your show, it definitely makes sense that it's organized by that one, and it definitely cleans it up and makes it better. As we move on to the calendar in My Universe mode, we've gone through what a Monday Night Raw looks like, but there are still more shows to be played through. You can find all these shows when you enter the calendar menu. This will give you an idea of how far into the month or year you're in, and you can decide to jump weeks or even months ahead by selecting the show of your choice. So nothing new. Obviously, the calendar is just being presented, and it looks like, based on that picture, it looks like we're having still 3 rivalries. So if you're running a big show, you're kind of limited to what you can do. But as we continue on, My Universe mode, My Universe is a place where you'll find details about everything in your current universe. Some of these options look familiar from the show menu, but they only display things related to the show. If you go to Superstars and Raw, then it only displays superstars who compete on Raw. The same option in My Universe mode will display all the superstars available for Universe mode, regardless of their brands. The same applies for news, championship, and teams. Shows will display your weekly Monday through Saturday lineup. So it'll show everything if you're in My Universe mode. Now, customization. It wouldn't be Universe mode without all the customization. That is the part that some players find the most depth in the mode, where they can really tailor the Universe mode experience, which I would have to agree with. The creation suite is one of the best. I haven't touched on the customization much in a walkthrough above, and you may not have seen much in the screenshot, but don't worry, it's all still there. There is no Edit Universe option anymore. Instead, you find an Edit option available on all screens where you can customize something. The idea behind this was that you don't need to separate View Superstars and Edit Superstar menus, which I think is definitely a good change. If you're looking at something you want to change, you shouldn't have to leave that menu to go do it. Thank you. I agree with you. And if I'm looking at superstars, I want to customize one of them, and I should be able to go into an edit mode straight from there, which I 100% agree with you. As you can see, changing the crowd reaction, the personality traits, the effects, the affiliated shows, the abilities, all definitely should be on one menu. Superstars can be changed around in a variety of ways. From their skills, attributes, and personality can all be adjusted. You can choose their enemies and their allies, what championships they're competing for, which attires they compete in, and how the crowd responds to them. Teams can be customized, whether you're adding or removing members to an existing team or making a team of your own creation. Why not add Kane to the Wide family and see what would happen if you had been converted? Yeah, you remember that? SummerSlam. Wow. Or you could pick superstars of your own choice to join Finn and establish the Baylor Club. So, yeah, you might just see the Baylor Club as Grand Amplitude, one of my more favorite theme songs, as you guys can see. Wow, Titus O'Neil, swap it in. Championships will show you which superstar has which title and lets you edit the rankings around if you like. Access shows and modify a specific show if you want to change what championships are featured on it. You can also change the superstars which compete on that show, how many matches it runs, and even its presentation. So you guys could definitely swap it up, like similar to the past, right? I'm pretty sure you could do that in the past. You can swap them up and go in. But now let's make our own brand split. WWE's brand between Raw and SmackDown was a huge deal, but unfortunately happened too late in their dev cycle into 2K17. Luckily, the Creation Suite of Community Creations make it possible to get your Universe mode lined up to the brand changes, and they'll walk you through it. You want to create a new Universe save? Don't want to interrupt my first Universe mode already in progress, so I'll create a new save that we want to customize. So this is actually one of the things I was talking about where everybody's freaking out. Thanks to the customization tools, we can go in and change this. You can assign superstars to SmackDown. We were able to get most of the superstars assigned to their drafted shows, but some were still up in the air at the time of the draft, and they weren't sure where they'd end up going. Let's head into Universe mode, Superstars, and highlight Heath Slater. Pressing Y triangle edits the mode for Heath Slater. Selected affiliated shows lets us decide which shows he'll participate on. let's uncheck Raw and check SmackDown, and Slater's ready to go. So definitely the one thing that I kept stressing is you can easily see how you can change up affiliation. So even with the brand split, you can make it seem a lot better. Now, assigning the new championship to Raw. One of my favorite parts about the brand split is the new championship. I went through a custom championship to see how close I get to recreating the new titles. So he definitely went through and tried to create the retitles, which is another thing, like I said. It's pretty much just a belt designer. So you could put those titles in. You don't have to worry about it. And they did go ahead and swap them out and to see who comes out as new champion once they swapped. So you can see they replaced the Women's Championship and the Universal Championship for the titles. And as they continued to move on, which, I mean, if you look at what's going on, I'll say this. As you go in and customize your pay-per-views, like I was saying before with the, being able to import the logos, you can edit in and you can pick an empty Sunday and then you can put in Backlash and you want to make sure to put out the host show set to SmackDown. So you can have 2 pay-per-views a month. So the brand split can be worked in with the game, which is definitely something that makes it, when you take into account where WWE is, it is good. As you customize the matches with your Backlash pay-per-view setup, I'll either quit out to edit menu or select Backlash on the calendar and simulate straight to it. I can start customizing their matches. The first match was going to be the SmackDown Women's Championship. They'll highlight the first match, hit edit, and customize the match since we're doing match type completely. They can choose 6-man Battle Royale, pick SmackDown's Women's Division's competitors from finishing up the touches. They'll open up match options, pick the title, place their SmackDown. So you pretty much the same as it's been. And you can go in there. You can get your show edit as you have your finishing touches. Once they finish the pay-per-view, they have their new SmackDown champions. They're ready to go. It's time to assign the titles to either brand, and then they are ready to go. And that is where things will wrap up. And hopefully, guys, Universe Mode is going to live up. Hopefully the changes live up to what I'm expecting, and Universe Mode is going to be awesome.